The Galactic Combat Academy had trained warriors from 700 species across 3 spiral arms. In its 4,000-year history, no cadet had ever failed the shield penetration exam quite as spectacularly as the instructors expected. Abigail Chen to fail Commander Vex, a towering Krolix with crystalline armor plating, held the blunt training knife between 2 clawed fingers as if it were contaminated. "This," he announced to the assembled cadets, his translator rendering his clicks into perfect standard, "is what your human classmate has chosen for today's practical examination." 300 alien cadets turned to stare at Abigail. She stood at attention, her small frame dwarfed by the massive Thorian beside her, barely reaching the chestplate of the insectoid vril across the aisle. At 22 standard years, she was young even by human standards, let alone the centuries-old beings surrounding her. "The human wishes to attempt shield penetration," Vexter continued, mandibles clicking with what the translation matrix interpreted as amusement, "with a weapon that cannot cut protein fiber." Laughter rippled through the chamber, wet gurgles from the aqueous, high-pitched chirps from the avix, deep rumbles from the stone-skinned gorm. Abigail's expression never changed. Jaden Morrison, the only other human in the cohort, caught her eye from across the training floor and gave an almost imperceptible nod. The testing arena materialized around them, holographic walls rising to contain the combat space. Abigail's opponent was a Sentinel Mark 7 combat drone, its Type 4 energy shield flickering blue in the arena's center, the same shield technology that protected every military vessel in the galactic fleet, impervious to kinetic weapons below threshold velocity, impervious to thermal attacks below plasma-level intensity, impervious to everything the Academy had thrown at it with primitive weapons. "Begin," Vexter commanded. Abigail walked forward, the blunt training knife loose in her grip. The other cadets leaned forward. This would be over in seconds, a humiliating lesson in why humans, despite their surprising tactical aptitude, simply lacked the physical capabilities for frontline combat. The drone's shield crackled, sensors tracking Abigail's approach. She moved slowly, deliberately, studying the energy barrier's oscillation pattern. 3 meters, 2 meters. The shield intensified, preparing for impact. Then Abigail did something none of them expected. She stopped, her eyes closed, her breathing slowed. The knife rose, edged forward despite its bluntness, until it touched the shield's surface. Energy sparked and spit around the blade's contact point, but Abigail didn't thrust, didn't slash. She simply held the knife there, steady as a mountain, and pressed. "What is she doing?" someone whispered. Jaden smiled. He'd seen this before, back on Earth, in the training halls where Abigail had spent 10 years studying arts the galaxy had never heard of. Patience, precision, the understanding that force without timing was just wasted. Energy. The shield flickered. Vexter. Mandibles stopped clicking. Abigail's knife pressed deeper, impossibly, the blunt edge somehow finding purchase against pure energy. She shifted her weight, not dramatically, just a fraction, and the angle changed. The shield flickered again, its oscillation pattern disrupted by the sustained, calculated pressure at a single point. "Impossible," Vexter breathed, but it was happening. The shield's energy, designed to repel sudden kinetic impacts, had no protocol for sustained, patient pressure. It cycled, redistributing power to compensate, and in that microsecond of redistribution, Abigail moved. The blunt knife slipped through the gap that shouldn't have existed, riding the wave of the shield's own oscillation pattern. The blade touched the drone's housing. Victory. The arena fell silent. "How?" The word came from a dozen translators simultaneously. Abigail withdrew the knife and turned to face the assembly. "On Earth," she said quietly, "we have a saying. Softness overcomes hardness. Stillness overcomes motion. Your shields are designed to stop attacks. I didn't attack. I waited until the shield attacked itself." Vexter descended from the observation platform, his massive form moving with newfound respect. "Explain." "Energy shields oscillate," Abigail continued. "They have two. They're constantly cycling power to maintain integrity across their surface. That means there are microsecond intervals where sections are weaker, transitioning between power states. A fast hard strike just makes the shield strengthen faster, but sustained pressure at the right angle, with the right patience." She held up the blunt knife. "Even a weapon that can't cut can find its way through. If you stop trying to break through and start trying to flow through." "You studied the shield's frequency," Jaden added, stepping forward, "before the test, didn't you?" Abigail nodded. "Every shield in the Academy uses the same base oscillation pattern. I've been watching them for 6 months." The implication hit the chamber like a shockwave. Every security checkpoint, every training drone, every defensive installation, all using the same technology, the same pattern. And this human cadet, this small, patient, observant human, had turned their greatest defensive achievement into a puzzle to be solved. Vexter-esque crystalline plates shifted the Krollock's equivalent of a smile. Cadet Chen, your score is perfect. Cadet Morrison, you will both report to Strategic Analysis Division immediately. He turned to address the assembly. Let this be a lesson. The humans do not win through strength. They win through something far more dangerous. They win through understanding. As the other cadets filed out, chattering in a dozen languages about what they'd witnessed, Jaden approached Abigail. Think they'll actually change their shield protocols? Abigail smiled, sliding the blunt knife back into its training rack. Eventually, after they run 1,000 simulations and convene a dozen committees, bureaucracy is the same everywhere, and by then, she said, her eyes gleaming, I'll have figured out the new pattern. Above them, visible through the training hall's transparent dome, the stars wheeled in their eternal dance. 700 species, 4,000 years of military tradition, and to humans who'd just reminded the galaxy of an ancient truth, that the most dangerous weapon wasn't the one that could cut through anything, it was the mind that refused to stop thinking.